Hello, so the purpose of this video is to explain what is expected of you for your periodic table project for this unit. Just before we get started, I do want to let you know this project will be counted as a test grade, so it is important that you put a lot of work into this. It is going to be 50 points, so it is a big part of your grade. Last year when I did this project, students had a lot of fun with it and turned in some really quality work, so I'm really hoping to get some really cool designs turned in as well. Make sure you put effort into this project. This project will need to be completed on paper. This is not a virtual project, so even if you are a virtual learner, you will need to make this on a poster board of some sort. Online learners, you will be doing some sort of presentation as well virtually, so make sure you're prepared for that as well. I'm going to go through what's expected of you in the rubric as well, which are both posted here below, and then there is some pictures of examples at the bottom as well for you to reference. Okay. So let's first just go over what the project is. So your job, it's all written out here for you, is to create a periodic table on the topic of your choosing. So it can be anything, given that it's a socially acceptable topic. If you're concerned that your topic isn't appropriate, it probably isn't, so choose something else. So you can do a periodic table of buttons and beads or music groups, movies, sports teams, cars, planes. Some students did it on candy and chocolate. Anything that is of interest to you. I actually did this project when I was in high school, and I think I did mine on Disney characters. Okay, so be creative with this. Make it something that you are interested in. Okay. Notice that the periodic table must contain 4 periods and 8 families. So a family is the same as a group. So notice we need to have 4 columns across and 8 down. Okay. Notice we're skipping the transition elements. You do not need to include those in your table. Your table cannot be bigger than 3 feet by 3 feet. And everything needs to be secured to the table. So if you want to print out little pictures to put on your table, that is completely fine. But make sure they're taped down really well, because I am going to hang these up. I don't want anything falling off on the walls. Okay. Last year, the students had the most success if they used something stronger, like a foam board or something stiff for their backing of their periodic table as well. So we know that how the periodic table is arranged. You just learned that in our notes video. So notice here it says the items in the vertical columns or the groups must be similar in some manner and have some variation or gradual change as you move up or down. So your job in this is not just to put a bunch of random cars on a periodic table, but maybe you group them in some way or some sort. So maybe as you go down the periodic table, if you're doing cars, the cars get bigger. Maybe as you go to the right, the engine gets stronger. Okay, maybe as you go down, the engine gets bigger, and as you go to the right, the color gets more vibrant. Okay, so you need to have changes going both down and to the right of your periodic table. You need to then have a key, and it needs to be typed. Notice it says a typed key that explains your periodic table. So you can't just have these trends, but you must tell us what these trends mean. And then you must relate those trends to the actual periodic table. So we know that as we go down the periodic table, atomic radius gets bigger. Maybe when we go down your periodic table of cars, the engine gets bigger like the atomic radius gets bigger. Okay, maybe as we move to the right, the colors get more vibrant or a stronger color like the electronegativity gets stronger. Okay. Like I said before, you can print pictures off the internet. You can use magazines, use your own pictures, use anything you'd like. You can color it. You can draw it from hand, but it must have color. Each of the elements must have some sort of picture, and it must be organized nicely. Here's the grade breakdown, which I'll go over further on the rubric, but it's going to be 50 points total. 10 points for having a trend across, just from left to right. 10 points for having a trend from top to bottom. Okay, 15 points for explaining those trends and relating them to the real periodic table. 7 points for creativity. Does everything make sense? Does it look nice? And 8 points for your presentation of it. The presentation includes both the overall look of the table as well as the presentation that you're going to do for us in class verbally. Okay, so let's skip over to our rubric. So here is exactly what you need. The trend across the trend across a period. So from left to right. There's an apparent trend. I don't have to read the key to know what's going on. It shows that there's a change. The trend is based on data and not opinion. So you can't say, oh, best sports teams. And you can't just say, oh, I put Michigan State at the far right because they're the strongest sports team because I like them the best. Okay, it needs to be based on data. Maybe you could say that you put them there because they won the most titles of some sort. I don't know things about sports, but maybe they did. Okay, You need to make sure that the thing on the very top right and the bottom left are very different. They're very different cars. They're very different teams. They're very different desserts. Again, same thing, you have to have a trend going down. Your key, you will get points for how it relates to the families and periods. You will get points for how it relates to the real periodic table as well. You'll get points on your presentation and points on creativity. Okay, we are going to ignore this part here. This is not for your class. You will have different checkpoints along the way of this project to make sure you are staying on task and not falling behind. Your first checkpoint is today, so make sure that you pop on over to our other assignment that you were doing earlier to complete that first part of your project on selecting a topic and telling me a general idea of what you're thinking. If you are completely stuck and can't think of anything to do a topic on, please email me and I can help you as much as I can. Make sure you take a look at the old projects from old classmates and old students of mine to get some inspiration as well. Otherwise, have fun with this. Good luck. Make sure you are staying on top of things because, again, this is 50 points and it is a test grade. Good luck. Have fun.